Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
Hey, Larson.
And welcome back to Steven Larson's Pro Wrestling Podcast, ruining pro wrestling podcast since 2014.
We make no claims about ruining pro wrestling.
That's out of my hands, man. Try as we may, I think there's other people doing that. Yeah. Anyways, on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at this week's Monday Night Raw. For those who are subscribed and notified of the channel, you might be like, what the heck? It's around like 6:30, 7 o'clock Pacific, maybe 10 p.m. They're like, well, what's going on? Because Raw aired early today. And so we were like, you know what? Nothing else is going on. Instead of wait till Tuesday, let's just do it today on Monday.
Do it now. We'll finish up. My wife's making some chili right now. I'll have some of that when we're done.
Ooh. You got cornbread with that? You got cornbread with that?
No, we don't eat cornbread, unfortunately. Shucks. So Raw was shot early tonight, because they're doing SmackDown apparently right after first 2 hours SmackDown.
Yeah. So like the kids can have the 4th of July off.
Yeah, so everybody have 4th of July off. So they'll shoot Friday SmackDown tonight, and then air it on Friday, and then all the wrestlers can have 4th of July off.
Should we do like a pre-taped episode where we review the spoilers of SmackDown? Try to find some super detailed spoilers out there. I'm joking. That's not a good idea. So yeah,
we're some nuance lost there, I think, by not watching it, Steve. Also, that's our video for Monday.
Weren't you the one complaining about a lack of nuance in WWE?
Therein lies the joke.
oh, there you go. Okay, good one. Oh man. Anyways, so yeah, dude, look, we've got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now till Evolution, the weekend of Evolution and Saturday night's main event.
Yeah, back to back.
12th and 13th, right?
I guess they're not both premium live events. There's a network special premium live event back-to-back nights.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then, 3 weeks after that, SummerSlam?
Yeah, we don't care about that. That's not...
Triple H doesn't need to be cared about that too much either, apart from the two matches.
They're already booking for Clash in Paris.
I know. The story never ends, Steve.
When is that one?
End of August, I think.
Okay, so that's after SummerSlam. So
that's after SummerSlam, yeah.
King and Queen of the Ring were title matches.
Yeah.
For SummerSlam, so at least that's going on.
Yeah.
And then we've got Evolution. It's too much wrestling.
It's a lot of wrestling. That weekend of the 12th and 13th, there's a lot going on. Of course, you got Saturday's main event, Evolution. You also got AEW All in Texas.
Mainly, we've got I'm looking forward to All In, man.
Me too.
Gosh darn, that's going to be a good one. I think that's where I was just talking with Chris Garrix, our note taker, today, and he was like, "How are you guys going to handle that?" And I think what we're going to do is a post All-In show.
Yeah.
We might even do... I'd consider doing a watch-along for that.
I would, too. It starts at noon.
Yeah, it starts at noon. The Hangman situation is going to be a big deal. Then we'll do a review. And then either Sunday or Monday, I'd prefer Monday, we do Evolution and Saturday night's main event as our Monday show. For that. But I mean, look, they're booking some decent stuff for Evolution. I was a little bit surprised that they're doing, it's on the thumbnail, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky, which I figured they could get that to SummerSlam as like a big deal. Given that they're doing this for Evolution, what do you see for the women's world title match at SummerSlam? I mean, they're not going to rematch this, are they?
I honestly don't know. I mean, first, there's 3 matches made for Evolution tonight. There was Io versus Rhea. That was booked at the very beginning of Raw. And then they settled what they're going to do for the women's tag title situation. It wasn't a thing where Raquel's like, hey, Roxanne, thanks for trying to help me at Night of Champions. It was Finn going up to Pearce and Alda saying Roxanne should be Raquel's partner. They should hold on to the tag titles. They kind of agreed to it, but kind of to prove their mettle as a new tag team, they got to defend the titles in a 4-way match at Evolution. And also, a Battle Royal was announced. Winner of the Battle Royal will be number one contender face one of the two women's champions at Clash in Paris.
And then, of course, the already booked NXT women's title match is going to be. So that's four right now. There is a double pin finish, a draw finish for the Intercontinental Championship number one contenders match tonight. You got to think they might do that one at Evolution as well, which would make 5 matches on the card. So we could, that could be the entire card.
That could be
right
the
there.
entirety of the card. I mean, it's 2 weeks away. They kind of have to get things
No
going.
Sign of Nikki Bella. I mean, you thought that maybe they'd replace Liv with somebody for Nikki
Well,
Bella.
I mean, it's a possibility they might have the Bellas in that 4-way match.
Oh, that's a good point. Although they did specify that it's going to be one from each brand, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
I mean, they could say, all right, Bellas are on Raw now.
They could
write it that way, Steve.
They could just write it in there, Larson.
They could.
It's fake. They could do what they want.
Getting back to the question you asked as far as who will Rhea... Well...
No, you had it right. Who's Rhea going to defend that title against the SummerSlam?
I mean, even tonight they said, well, Rhea's never beat EO. Yeah, Rhea's probably win that title main event at Evolution. Then who is she going to face at SummerSlam? That's a good question.
They are the two, besides Bianca, who's on a different brand, although, as you just stated, they could write it. And that's should be like a WrestleMania thing.
Yeah,
but besides, Bianca, there are no other bigger stars than Io and Rhea right now. That's why I was kind of surprised that they were going to do this for Evolution and not push till SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, could they do... Maybe they'll do a rematch. I don't know. Maybe they're not going to wonk this finish, are they?
No, you wouldn't think so. 'Cause it's going to be the main event. The main event's going to be Rhea winning the title. She's going to close the show holding that title up, pyro going off. Yeah, that's going to be the close of the show.
That's going to be the thing, yeah. So, I don't know what then could, I'll put it this way. There's tons of amazing talent.
Yeah. I mean, for example, tonight, Kyrie had a video package saying she's coming for the championships, and, one of the titles pictured in that video package was the women's world title.
I mean, that's why I honestly thought they were going to find some way to motivate Asuka versus Io at Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's okay, well, I know people hate to hear this, but Io would win that and move on and take on Rhea at SummerSlam because they're the two biggest stars they got. So I don't know. Maybe the friendos can figure this out for us. Load up the comments with who you think.
Well, here I'm looking at the
we got
the roster here. So Bayley, Becky, and Lyra are still going to be in the Intercontinental title picture.
Yep.
Because it's going to be a triple threat at Evolution. Becky's probably going to walk out of that still champion because Lyra and Bayley are beefing
each other out. Yeah.
So somehow they're going to work something out so Becky will take on one or the other at SummerSlam. Maybe Bayley. Just, I don't know. So you got Asuka. You got Ivy Nile, who is seemingly kind of pushed to the fore in American Made now that Chad Gable's gone. Because he has to have surgery.
I like that for her, by the way.
I do
think
too.
That works, yeah.
I do too. Kyrie lives out with injury. There's Maxine Dupree. There's Natalia. There's Raquel. There's Roxanne. There's Stephanie Vecchier, who wasn't on Raw tonight. Was mentioned.
She also had a commercial interview during the thing. I only know that because of social media.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen for SummerSlam. I mean, maybe they'll do Bianca Rhea there. What's the deal? It's a 2-night SummerSlam.
It's a 2-night SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. Yeah.
If they want to establish this as a WrestleMania level event, now that it's 2 nights, you could do Rhea Bianca at SummerSlam and Rhea Bianca at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
That's a possibility. I don't know if I don't think that's as big a match. I mean, that's a huge match. Don't get me wrong. But Io's stock has risen so much since winning at because of the win at WrestleMania, it sort of solidified her as like, hey. And then, everybody's waiting for the shoe to drop, and that's Rhea Ripley coming in and just taking that title. Seems like that's going to happen at Evolution. Boy, oh boy, wouldn't it be great if it didn't? Yeah, I love Rhea. Rhea's great. I think she's terrific. But goddamn, I want Io to win every single time she's in the ring.
Well, maybe it's a situation. Gosh, I know how they do this. They could just write it. Io gets a win at Evolution. Rhea's like, oh, gosh, darn it, I had you. And I just made a mistake again. One more time. And do it again at SummerSlam, and then Rhea wins there. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's what I was saying earlier, and then you poo-pooed all over it. You said, no. Rhea with the pyro, which makes sense.
It does make sense. I understand they want to have a huge match as the main
Io
event
with the
for
pyro.
Evolution.
Maybe
it's Io with the pyro. I don't know. Hold the title.
Sick.
I understand they want to have a huge main event for Evolution. I get it. But yeah, Io versus Rhea seems like a SummerSlam match.
It really does. Can't wrap my head around this one. Yeah, we'll figure out what's going on there. So yeah, it seems like all the matches there for Evolution
are kind of in place.
Yeah, I could sort of see all that. So let's just go ahead and run this down. We also had, we'll just go ahead and talk about what happened with the Rhea Io stuff and just go from there.
All right.
Rhea kicked off the show with promo. She says, "Welcome to Monday Night, Mommy. Now that Raquel and Judgment Day are behind me for good, I'm stuck wondering what's next for me. With Evolution around the corner, I need to get my priorities straight." And then Io's music interrupts. She comes down. Everybody's really happy. And then she says, "Rhea, you cannot have Evolution without Io Sky. But you're wrong about one thing. You're not on top anymore. Not without this. Because I have this." She says, "Adam Pearce said I get to choose who I defend against at Evolution. I want to defend against the best. That means defending against Rhea Ripley." And Rhea says, and she's very... wasn't a whole lot of oomph behind this retort here. She says, "Io, I have nothing but respect for you, and if that's what you want, I hope you know I'll stop at nothing to get this back. So if that's what you want, just know what happens at Evolution, that's what you wanted." At Evolution, Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. You're on.
Yeah.
And, lots of respect between the two of them. I don't know. Look, man, if they did this into a bigger feud type thing where you get a rematch at, the big show, I'm down with that,
Yeah.
I don't want Rhea to go 2-0 here. She probably will.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if she wins at Evolution, she's going to win again at SummerSlam.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. But maybe not.
Maybe
I
not.
think she probably will, though. You see the way they book her at that last show? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. So let's talk about the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Obviously, we got Bill Goldberg challenging Gunther on July 12th.
Hey, dude, you got your wish. Seth Rollins is elevating that World Championship, Larson.
Well, it's not just that. We got, of course, Bill and Gunther on July 12th. Gunther's already looking past Goldberg. And
As
he's asking,
he should.
Who's next for Gunther at SummerSlam? Outwalks Seth freaking Rollins. And also, later on, during that segment, CM Punk, to get his pound of flesh from Seth, chases him off and then pushes Gunther square on his rear end.
Yeah, I wonder if he was supposed to push him that hard.
I didn't look. Here's the thing: it didn't look like he pushed him that hard. It looked like Gunther was selling for him.
Oh, you think so? Okay,
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Gunther. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that maybe Gunther was a tad off balance in the first place, and then Punk gave him a little too hard of a shove. And I was like, "Damn, Gunther, you're not going to do nothing about that."
No,
He
he's
looked
bumping.
like an idiot.
He's bumping for Phil.
He is, I guess so. He knows.
So
that
the
Phil is
question
money.
needs to be asked.
Yeah.
Assuming that Gunther walks out of Saturday night's main event, as he should, World Heavyweight Champion still, who's it going to be for him? Is it going to be Seth? Seth has LA Knight, as Saturday night's main event. That was announced tonight. Short of maybe having a match against maybe Roman, maybe at SummerSlam. I don't know what Punk's going to do. So it could be Punk Gunther. It could be Punk Seth again. It could be LA Knight Seth again. Who knows?
So I don't think it's going to be, let's see here, at SummerSlam. Boy, it really seems like they're going to do Seth Punk again before they get around to, I mean, well, boy, I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, it'd be Seth Punk and Gunther, LA Knight. Those are like the 4 guys in the orbit right now. LA Knight's taking on Seth at Saturday night's main event. Well, he ain't gonna win there, so how can he justify getting Gunther?
You could see a situation where that's super wonky, with Braun and Bronson getting involved in LA Knight's. Well, I want another shot at you, Seth freaking Rollins at SummerSlam. It's entirely possible that happens.
Yeah, but that's kind of... This is funny for me to say. This is horrible, actually, for Gunther. LA Knight in a rematch against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam is beneath Seth Rollins. And yet, LA Knight challenging for the world title at SummerSlam is not beneath Gunther. That actually... Because Seth is up here. Seth is all the way up here. When he gets that title, he's going to bring it up with
the centerpiece of the A story on Raw, yeah.
He is. He's a big deal, yeah. Honestly, what they really should do with Seth at this point, no lie, make him champ. Have him unify those titles. Maybe not unify, but have him carry both titles. He cashes in on the Cody title after winning the world title. Ooh. Because they're trying to make him into a big deal right now.
Yeah, and the creative behind it isn't necessarily up to the task at this juncture. So it needs some feat, I feel like.
It needs like, oh, wow, that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy crap. He's been champ before?
He has. It was world title and U.S. title, yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because right now, creatively, it's just kind of there. What's going on here?
So, I'm glad. Let me put it this way. I'm glad he's back on Raw. And he's chasing that title. And I like his, justification. I wasn't there for the title. Not there for the cash in. I just want to screw over CM Punk. And then CM Punk follows him back to this world title scene. I prefer it that way. I'm kind of surprised that they're doing it this way, but I kind of prefer it that way. And so him being there drags along CM Punk. LA Knight's involved. It just feels a lot more fun now. It just feels a lot more involved. It feels less like... like you've said, it makes this title desirable now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's talk all this. We have a, Goldberg video package during the show where it kind of intercuts highlights of his career with him training for his final match against Gunther.
Question.
Saturday's main event. What?
How many of these highlights were in standard def?
Well, most of them were from WCW, so yeah.
Yeah, that's how old this guy is.
Yeah. So then later on, Gunther makes his entrance because he's got a promo. He says, "Yes, you guessed it. I came out to talk about Bill Goldberg." He says, "I'm impressed. We all saw the video highlighting some of his greatest moments as violent and brutal. He left a mark on everyone."
Yeah, because he was.
There's some good lines in this promo.
Yeah.
But just like every one of his matches, I'll sum it up in 3 minutes. He has every right to claim he's the most feared man of his generation, but I'm afraid of what is left. I see what he is, a 58-year-old man who wants to ride out his career on my coattails. One last hurrah at my expense. That is not going to happen because I know he is not capable of taking this away, and I can definitely beat him in under 3 minutes. That's not my goal, he says. Not my goal. My goal is to take my time, pick him apart, blow him up, outclass, and embarrass him in front of everyone and everything near and dear to him. I heard Goldberg doesn't say he doesn't like bullies. Too bad he bumped into the biggest one around here. Saturday night's main event. I will bully you, push you around, and treat you like a piece of crap. There's nothing he can do about it, and we're guessing if you still got it. I'll expose that you never had it. Goldberg, after I walk out of here, it'll be me to raise the question, who's next? Who is it? Who's next for the ring general? So Seth's music hits.
I appreciate, too, when Gunther said, who's next? He was laughing.
Yeah, he was.
He was having fun with this, and he's like, my favorite line in there is, I'm going to blow this guy up.
Yeah, I know. My favorite line was coming up next. So Seth comes to the ring. He's got a custom attaché case.
As is normal with Seth Rollins merchandise, even the attaché case, the custom is just boring.
It is. It's matte. It's like a matte finish on it.
Branding. He has no real branding.
No, his logo's terrible. Always has been. So
it's a matte finish.
It's got a matte finish on it. Which
Did
unto
it?
itself,
It looked glossy to me.
no, I look kind of matte.
It was just boring, though.
It is boring. Maybe that's what it is. So Gunther says, well, by the look on his face, talk about Heyman, you're very proud to travel very far and achieve nothing.
That was a good line.
That was. So Seth says, achieve nothing? Come on. He hasn't been paying attention. We came here to congratulate you. We haven't seen you since you won the title. Congrats, champ. If you've been paying attention, you understand. We did not go to cash in on John Cena, but for the last 2 years, I said if there's a breath in my lungs, CM Punk will not be world champion in this company. We flew all the way across the world to stand on that business. I don't know, Seth looked pretty upset at the end of the show. Kind of seemed like he wanted to cash in. Anyways, but as it stands, this contract, when we won this, I told the world it was going to be an all-out assault on both world titles. So let me repeat. Congrats, champ. Phil's music hits. He comes to the ring. They start brawling, he and Seth. And eventually, Punk chases Seth out of the ring. He flees through the crowd. And then Punk brushes past Gunther, so Gunther grabs him by the arm to turn him around, and Punk shoves him. And Gunther's bumping like he just took a haymaker from Phil.
Yeah, he shouldn't be bumping that much for Phil.
So then Punk leaves. We cut up to the stands where Seth is gloating, telling Punk, yeah, get out of here. And LA Knight with some popcorn pops in behind Seth.
He casually meanders behind him with a little tiny thing of popcorn.
You got a small popcorn, yeah.
He eats like maybe 2 pieces of it, and that's it.
Maybe he only brought $8 in cash. And
yeah, you need $8 for that thing, man.
So he smashed the popcorn across Seth's face. They start brawling up the concourse. And then Seth throws a drink at LA Knight and then runs away.
The concessions girl got really excited for this. She got out her phone and everything. I was cracking up.
I'm sure that doesn't happen every day.
I always look at the people in the background. I do that with movies, too. I'll look at extras sometimes just to see what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
Like there's that famous extra from there's two movies where there's an extra that just absolutely stole the show. One was Pollock with Ed Harris.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
There's you gotta find. Maybe I'll see if I can find it for you. There's a section of the commentary track where Ed Harris is on it, and he's talking about this scene, and Pollock is in, I don't know where he's at. He's in a crowded area, bunch of people behind him. And he's like, and in this scene right here, Jackson Pollock, if this fucking extra behind him would stop overacting so much, is really trying to... he just flashes on this extra back there. It's the funniest shit. I'll have to find it for you. And then, of course, the other one is in the Doctor Strange movie. The second one, I think, when he's got
the scene where he has the plastic hair, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the, I think is it a funeral or a wedding?
A church of some sort. It's a church, yeah.
Yeah, and there's this old broad behind him who's just way overacting.
Yeah. And yet, you still focus on the plastic hair for some reason.
And yet you can't stop looking at his plastic hair. He's like Dog Boy in those old shows, in the Liquid TV back in the day.
Yes. So anyways, after all that, LA Knight versus Seth Rollins announced for Saturday Night Main Event. Punk's walking backstage. Jackie stops him. To interview him, he says, what's going through my mind? Seth's knees haven't worked that well in years. I got receipts for everyone and anyone who gets my way. Lists off Seth, Gunther. He walks up to LA Knight and yells at him about going after Seth. And LA Knight says, you could have him 6 days out of the week, but right now, Saturday, Seth is mine. Mm-hmm. And since Seth is mine on Saturday Night's Main Event, that means I am the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punk had nothing to say to that.
Nope.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean it's a muddy scene for SummerSlam. What about a multi-man? What about him? We know we're getting a one-on-one with Cody versus Cena again. What if
Knight versus Seth versus Punk versus Gunther?
Yeah, put them all in there.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Somebody's got to take a pin. Yeah. He's the line. He's the pin. Anyways.
Let's talk about the main event. It was Sammy and Penta teaming up against Braun and Bronson, injury specialists. Before that, though, Jackie's backstage talking to Sammy, congratulating him on his win when Karrion Kross attacks him from behind. Just keeps on yelling at him. Say it. Say you're a liar. He's beating the hell out of him. Say it.
Yeah, he's got a pipe.
Yeah, then hit Sammy in the ribcage with it.
Mm-hmm. So later on, Sammy, we see him recovering backstage. Penta walks up.
With what, Steve? What does he have?
Shit, what does he have?
He's got rib tape.
Oh, sorry. Sammy has rib tape. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Uh, and so, sorry, well, he said, what is he with, and what does he have? I thought you meant Penta. Yeah, Sammy had fat piece of shit.
Penta has zero fear. Sammy has rib tape.
Correct. He has got Seto Miedo. I don't know how you say rib tape in Espanol, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's like, you sure you want to do this? And Sammy's like, yeah, let's do this. And so they do it. And so they have that match. But before the match, we're in Gorilla. And Paul Heyman is getting off the phone apparently with Seth Rollins. He's like, have a good trip or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he says, Seth is working on plan B. And Bronson's kind of confused by this. He's like, what's plan B? And then Breaker just walks in. He's like, the plan is for me to smash anyone who gets in our way. And then Paul Heyman's like, well yeah, that's a plan. But, you know, we need to figure out the timing. And he's like, oh, it starts tonight with those two out there. Yo, hit my music. And so Bronson Reed has to walk out to Braun Breaker's music, which I think is actually superior.
At the same time, though, it's fairly disrespectful to Bronson Reed. He has his own entrance. His Tron is great. Bronson Reed
you either conglomerate their both themes so that
you
it's
do the
like
amalgam theme, yeah.
The amalgam theme, thank you. Or new theme. Yeah. Or I guess maybe match to match you trade themes.
Could do that.
So
maybe next week Bronson's like, he's the hothead in the situation. Hit my music. They walk out to his thing.
Yeah, it could be. I guess it's just whoever calls dibs on music first.
I guess so.
Know. Maybe Bronson Reed doesn't care. Maybe Bronson Reed's like, yeah, Bron's music is better than mine. What do I care?
Could be. Anyway, this match was good, but it was really long. Kind of a predictable finish. Braun and Bronson get the win.
Also, shouldn't have main evented, to be honest with you.
No, it shouldn't have.
The tag title match should have main evented.
Yeah. So anyways, Sammy eats the pin after getting speared by Braun Breaker. So then Penta's checking on Sammy. And Bronson's basically like, hey, turn around. He's going to spear you, Penta. Penta turns around, gets a spear. So then Bronson's setting up Sammy to hit him with the tsunami. Main event, Jey Uso's music hits. Yeet.
Yeet.
He comes in with a chair. Braun tries to intercept. He gets a bunch of chair shots. Jey gets in the ring. He hits some punches on Bronson, super kick, throws the chair in his face, and he checks on Sammy. Crowd yeets.
Yeet.
Faces stand tall to end brawl.
That is correct. So now that we've got our own Friendo in the Bank winner.
Yeah.
Jason Sear, was that his name? What was it? Jay something. I thought it was Jay something.
I think it is Jay Sincere. Yeah.
That's what I want to say it was. Yeah. Anyways, now that we have a new Friendo in the Bank winner, I got to put in a little.
Hold on, let me double check that.
Scroll right here.
No, it's Jack Showtime.
Jack Showtime. Who's
That's
Jason Sears? That's a different Friendo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jason Sears. It's Jack Showtime.
Jack Showtime.
Yeah, apologies. So now that we have a new Friendo in the Bank winner, Jack Showtime, we move ahead now, Larson, to July. That's right.
So you can actually be dethroned, can be cashed in on.
Yeah, because my title reign continues on until I am dethroned. So if Jack Showtime wants to cash in, all he's got to do is let us know. There's a guaranteed win in there. There might be several. I would hold off because Larson and I have to discuss exactly what we're going to put in the briefcase.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that before the next Weekend of Champions. So.
We'll do that. We'll do that very short. We'll do that this week sometime. All right. We just got to get it done.
Yeah.
And so he can cash in, or come July. What do we got? We got the big weekend. Let's do it all on the big weekend.
Yeah, I guess all the huge wrestling shows in July are that weekend.
We got All In. We got Evolution, and we've got Saturday night's main event. Will I repeat? Will I get cashed in on? Will new champion dethrone me and then get cashed in on? I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see the future. I'm going to try my darndest.
No one can.
But if you want in on this clean slate of predictions challenge, right now, click join at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. Click on the Friendo Club setup there. Get access to all the old bonus episodes, get access to the question threads, and you get access, of course, to the predictions challenge. I got to design a new hat. What do we got? It's All In. It's Texas. I don't know.
They have cowboy hats? Can you make a cowboy hat?
Sadly, no. You would have known by now because
Shucks.
I hella would have made that shit.
Got a Stetson.
That'd have been really cool.
Yeah.
But no, none of that. But I'll make a new hat, and we'll come up with some, I don't know, other thing as well.
Can you make like a baseball hat? Like you got.
Yeah, I can do
but
this.
make it look like a cowboy hat.
I mean, I'm not really into the arts and crafts thing, nor do I know how to sew.
No,
I
you
can
do it all with how you do
listen,
it before. What?
I can make a baseball hat with a cowboy hat on it.
There we go. Or a belt buckle, one of the two.
Cowboy hat.
Fine, cowboy hat.
I could do both. How about this? It's a cowboy hat that is a belt buckle. So it's got a belt and it's a cowboy hat as the buckle.
There you go. Done. Look at that. We figured it out.
We figured it out. We'll also put some, maybe I'll get on eBay and see if there's any wrestling themed cowboy hats so we can get as like
There
a
we go.
special
Oh, there
gift, too.
probably would be.
There might be.
I'd be surprised there wasn't.
Anyways, also we had big meaty men slapping meat. Rusev versus Sheamus. And this match was long. Sheamus was absolutely sweating buckets out there.
Yeah.
That usually happens within 5 minutes of a Sheamus match, though.
So
But this was really cool.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. There is a couple of WWE themed cowboy hats on eBay currently. There's one for
Are
WrestleMania
you
30.
serious, dude?
A WrestleMania 32 one, and there's 2 Shawn Michaels ones. Those are expensive though.
WWE cowboy hat. Oh, they got a bunch of little toy ones, but we don't want that. Look at this. Oh my god, that is for $250. That is such an ugly Shawn Michaels.
It looks
cowboy
like somebody
hat.
sat on it.
Oh man, these are hilarious. Yeah, I don't. Oh, here's the WrestleMania 32 one. That might work. We'll see.
At least
I
that
don't
one
know.
doesn't look like it was sat on.
That one, it does look like
Oh
it's
wait,
made.
the next picture it looks like it's been sat on.
Yeah, it does, and it also looks like it's made from nutsack skin. It's like the what we
the
do in
witch's
the
asshole
shadows.
hat that Nick Kroll has and what we do in the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, the search continues. Rusev versus Sheamus. Rusev got the win with a Machka kick, but he had Sheamus in the game over. He said, "Rusev over." And then Sheamus got up out of it. They tumbled to the floor. He had a bro kick on Sheamus, and he did the stupid thing where at 9.5, he just leaps back into the ring.
Yeah.
And then Rusev's able to get the upper hand and get a Machka kick. Hell of a match, though. Really fun, very physical match.
Really physical, yeah.
I don't know where they go from here, if they're going to repeat this one or not. I mean, it seemed pretty decisive. But
Well, I guess maybe because Rusev gouged Sheamus in the eyes and then took off the turnbuckle cover and rammed Sheamus's chest into it. Maybe
he did the turnbuckle. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe.
So Sheamus would be
That
like,
makes
hey,
sense.
you kind of cheated, just thumb to the eye.
Hey, fella, let me lose another one to you because that's how it's going to
Exactly.
go down. But it'd be
Exactly.
a good match. These are good matches, so I'm
Yeah.
down with it.
I wouldn't complain about it either, no. We had the announcement from Pierce and Aldis about the Evolution Battle Royal. Talked about that earlier. So we have a segment backstage where Jackie's interviewing Bailey.
Well, hold on a second.
What?
Talk about the Battle Royal. Who you think is going to win that one? It's for a title match at Clash in Paris, so it's going to be either... They'll probably have some NXT people in it, but it's just going to be Raw or SmackDown who wins it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who's on SmackDown? Julia?
Yeah.
Chelsea?
I don't know. I don't know who's going to win.
Didn't they used to have... What if they bring back Amel? Remember Amel? Wasn't she
Oh, yeah.
from France?
She was French, yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Look at
Yeah.
that. They're not going to do that.
No, they're
Let's
probably
see
not
here.
going to do that. No.
So we had a really fantastic match between Bailey and Lyra Valkyria.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackie's backstage with Bailey. Where's your head at right now? And she's like, do I wish I was standing here as champion? Yeah, but Lyra had to get involved. It won't change why I came back. And then Lyra just shows up, interrupts her again. And then Bailey's like, oh, man. No, Lyra says, I was hoping things would go back to the way they were. She's like, you think I would actually try and sabotage you? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, you kind of did that. Like, whether or not you wanted it to come, you did that.
Mm-hmm.
You could have not done that.
Yeah.
And so they start bickering. Adam Pearce gets between them. Was like, that's enough. He's like, I went ahead and arranged to have you guys settle it in the ring tonight. Whoever wins, number one contender. And then Lyra says, see you in the ring, chum.
Yep.
And then we have that match, and it's really good.
It was really good. We got a double pin here where they were trading some roll-ups, and then they found themselves in a situation where they were both their shoulders down, double pin. And then they start fighting afterwards. Eventually, Lyra gets slammed to a road case. Officials come out and break it all up. And it seems pretty clear we're going to a triple threat type deal for Evolution here.
At some point, either Evolution or SummerSlam, you're going to get that. I mean, clearly, this is a double pin to motivate the triple threat.
Yeah.
Whether that happens at Evolution, which you'd think it would be. Why would, Becky not be on there? It
makes sense.
You know what they should do? This is what they should do. Instead of just doing a triple threat, have Becky special guest ref a one-on-one rematch between these two at Evolution. And that wonks, they wonk that finish, and then it goes to a triple threat.
Yeah.
There you go.
See, good idea.
See, they just need to write it.
They just need to write it that way. So Judgment Day's got a bunch of gold now because
Yeah! Larson!
Get out of your system.
Oh, man. What a great day. A great day indeed. Not only did I make my return to the court after 2 weeks off from sickness and illness to an underwhelming performance, but my guy, Finn Balor. Finn equals win, man. Do you see the vision now? That dirt sheet said he's going to get a significant push in 2025, and this is but step one. Coup de grace gets the win over the New Day. Yeah.
I'll be honest. My first thought was, man, they didn't really do a whole hell of a lot with New Day's heel turn since it happened last November.
They really didn't. No. But what better way? What better way? Number one, Jesus Christ, their gear.
Amazing.
Oh, my. I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the comments can let us know because I know there's a reference there somewhere. I know it's got to be inspired by something.
Yeah.
I didn't know because, it kind of looked like, at first I was looking at Kofi's. I was like, is that Giant Gonzalez inspired? But I was like, is it Attack on Titan inspired?
That's what I thought, too, because there's that giant thing that's got, this is all muscle, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought. But then the color scheme, I was like, I don't know if that's right. But regardless of what it was, it looked amazing. Woods had the thighs showing.
Yeah.
Boy, they look like a million. Their gear is always amazing.
And I always admire Kofi's shoe game. He's rocking some hard nines out there.
Okay. Yeah. They look like $1 million. Yeah. And you're right. Finn push 2025 aside. Finn equals win aside.
I know you're excited about that, but
it's a fucking shame.
It is.
It's a shame that the New Day really haven't. They haven't really explored this heel turn all that much.
No, they have not.
I don't know, really. It does look. Triple H has always liked Judgment Day quite a lot, and he will shuffle around the titles as he sees fit to motivate certain stories. Finn coming out on top here, and then getting his way with the women's tag team situation, bringing Roxanne into Judgment Day officially because they voted her in. I guess as Triple H wants those titles to motivate Finn's on, he's getting his way. He's able to manipulate his way into positive situations for himself. That being said, maybe this can be a clean slate for the New Day's heel run, and we can start doing some actual stories here. I don't know, but yeah, they need to do a better job with them.
Yeah, all the momentum they had after their heel turn, and within 3 weeks, just pissed away. It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. So we got Judgment Day backstage before the tag title match. JD and Finn, they leave after Dom wishes them luck. So then AJ walks in, and Dom pulls out a doctor's note and says, I'm still not cleared. I had Pierce write me this note and says, if you lay one finger on me before I'm cleared, you won't get a title match. He said, and then Dom says, now put on your glasses so you can read this note. So AJ puts on his glasses, reads the note.
That was hilarious.
That was funny. And AJ says, right here, doctor says you're a punk ass. You're going to get what's coming to you. I'm going to beat you so bad you'll need more than a note from your doctor. And so he leaves, and Dom mutters something. And AJ comes back in and says, how about now? And Dom just holds up the note and says, nope, still not cleared. He said, like MC Hammer, you can't touch this.
Oh, that was funny. I think Dom is great, and AJ producing the glasses really popped me. Because I have to wear those things too, man, when I'm reading stuff.
I got multifocal contact lenses.
I know. Look at you. You're like fucking Geordie LaForge over there, man. Yeah, I don't know if I could do contacts anymore. I mean, I don't need them.
No,
I'm just old. I've got reading glasses now.
Yep, it comes.
It's
with
always
the,
it kills me.
man.
Whenever I'm at the bar, and I talk about getting my load on, dude. I honestly have not been to the bar in like months.
Yeah, well, you've been sick for 2 weeks too.
I haven't gone in months. I know, but it's like drinking beer. Like I start drinking beer, my face just turns into a balloon. I can't be doing that to myself. I'm like nice and thin. But it always cracks me up seeing them old people, older than me, and they sit there and they do this shit. They got the bill right here. They're like,
oh, you're making fun of me because before I got the multifocal lenses, I had to do that.
No, it was funny because I would always see that. And then God bless your soul, when we do trivia, you're like, hey, Steve, what is this? What does this bill say?
It's hard to read small print
I'm
and dimly lit.
Slightly younger than you. I have to look at
well,
your
it's because
bill.
you had the LASIK. That's
those things are so tiny. Like the font is so small in those bills, man. And the bar that I hang out with, it ain't a young crew that's there. Like them old timers go to that bar.
Yeah, they need to pump up the size of that font.
Yeah, man. This says, geez.
Anyways, tag team title match. Judgment Day gets the win, courtesy of a moonsault from JD, a coup de grace from Finn. We got new champions. Crowd was super. I mean, JD and Finn were basically wrestling this match as babyfaces, anyways, and they got a babyface response from their win.
Yeah.
So Dom comes out to celebrate with them. So later on, Aldis and Pierce, they're chatting up Judgment Day backstage. And Finn's like, I want to talk about the women's tag titles. I feel like Raquel's worked really hard to earn and defend those titles. How about we just find her a new partner? It would be fair. Hey, Roxanne could do it. It'll work for everyone. So Pierce and Aldis, they kind of confer for a moment, have a sidebar. And they agree under one condition. Raquel and Roxanne need to prove that they're worthy champions. Therefore, they're going to have the four-way match at Evolution with one team from Raw, one from SmackDown, one from NXT. And as Pierce and Aldis are walking off, they say, we're on the same page, Pierce says, for now.
Why does he got to ruin it like that? Why you got to ruin it like that?
You know Pierce loves chaos.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we're in the Judgment Day's clubhouse. They're celebrating the tag title when Raquel walks in.
And Roxanne already has the other women's tag title.
Yeah. And Raquel says, we're just replacing Liv like this. She's been rehabbing 2 or 3 times a day. And Finn's like, hey, I had shoulder issues before. I know how long it takes. I just want you to stay champion. Raquel's like, oh, yeah. So Finn says, vote. Whether Roxanne officially joins Judgment Day now that she's champion. And of course, Finn's a yes. JD's like, yeah. And Dom says, well, I got to talk to Liv. And then Finn's like, no, you don't have to talk to her. Cast your vote. And then Dom says, kind of yes.
He says, alleged yes. Alleged yes. That made me laugh. Dom is so great.
And then Raquel's like, all right, I suppose. So then Finn says, it's official. Let's cheers our titles to the newest member of the Judgment Day. Roxanne then says she'll do anything she can to help. And it all starts with taking out the person who hurt Liv, Kairi Sane.
And Raquel said, well, at least we can get on the same page there. And then Finn steps in there. He's like, oh, yeah, Liv's going to love this.
Yeah.
Knowing that she will absolutely hate it.
Not like it at all. So we got a Kairi video package. And she says, I've been NXT Women's Champ, Tag Champ. She says, to all the champions, you're on notice.
You're on notice.
I will have all your gold. I am not afraid of anything. No matter how many times I am knocked down, I'll stand up. I don't run from the storm. I run into it. The pirate princess is here.
Mm-hmm. And then we got one last bit with Chad Gable before his shoulder surgery. We see him earlier. He's like telling the Alpha, American Maid,
American made.
I need
American
you guys,
made.
American made, to hold down the fort. He's like, listen to Ivy while I'm gone. And then Pierce comes in. He's like, hey, man, sorry what happened to you, and I wish you luck. And he's like, Pierce, I'm an Olympian. I make my own luck, but thank you. And Pierce says, so I'm kind of assuming that means we're not going to see El Grande Americano, will we? And Gable says, well, he's the greatest living American luchador there is. He's got a tight schedule, but you never know. And then Gable, that's when he leaves Ivy in charge of everybody. So later on, we have a backstage dinner with Jackie. And Ivy's like, Jackie, we got a lot of work to do, but I'm getting myself into that battle royal first. And then she's like, also, and then friggin' Ludwig, who was in the background before when Pierce was talking to them, has the El Grande Americano outfit on, nods to them, walks off. They look stunned. Jackie asks for a reaction. Ivy says, no comment. But she's obviously unaware that this was going to happen. So yeah. Ludwig Kaiser's new role is interim El Grande Americano. Is this leading to like WrestleMania next year? El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. Where's Ludwig from again? Is he
Germany?
He is Germany. Okay.
Yeah.
El Grande.
I don't know. I don't know how long Chad Gable's going to be out. I would have, was assuming it was going to be probably Gable versus Ray at Survivor Series, Gable as Americano versus Ray Mysterio at Survivor Series. Maybe mask versus mask or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know the extent of the how long the shoulder surgery is going to keep him out though.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know.
So
who knows?
Until we learn more there, can't really say. But Ludwig Kaiser as El Grande Americano looks like it might be pretty fun.
Yep, we'll see. Would you like to answer some questions?
Would you like to look at the television, Mr. Lee?
Let's do it. Cruz here says, how bad are we missing Judgment Day's other side theme? Immensely.
Yeah, I love that theme.
For some reason I have my closed captioning on my Netflix. Mm-hmm. And so whenever Judgment Day's music hits, it still says Other Side by Alter Bridge, even though it's not that. I'm like, gosh.
That's a bummer. Myth Trainer AC says, what would a Steven Larson themed fast food meal look like? So it'd be massively decadent. But if you take all the greatest hits from our fast food oeuvre, you got to think this. 2 Del Taco chicken soft tacos, a chicken long boy from Burger King, and a McGriddle.
A Popeye's chicken sandwich. And a McGriddle.
Popeye's chicken. God damn, those things are... Oh, okay, hold on a second. Ooh. Don't we also need a red bun Whopper in there? Without a red bun.
Well, that's a special. Yeah, I guess so. So a Whopper.
Those fools gave us a regular Whopper.
They just put it in the wrapper and thought we'd be happy with it.
Couple of marks.
Andre Zimpel asked, what movie do you think comes closest to perfection?
Oh, wow. Oh, gee, I don't know.
I told you that Peter Falk told me that Princess Bride is a perfect movie, essentially.
Well, that's like his opinion, man.
He was in it, too.
Yeah, he might be a little bit biased there.
Well, he said a movie without a flaw. That's what he said.
What is this one? The most
closest to perfection. So
closest to perfection.
Isn't it Citizen Kane, Steve? Is there a flaw with Citizen Kane?
Well, evidently he thought he was boring people because he put that bit with the bird that crows really loud. So I think even he thinks that there was a flaw in that movie. Yeah, I will say there's a flaw in that movie. Here's the thing. We're talking perfection.
Yeah, I know.
Perfection, right? For the time, I'm sure it's great, but some of the aged makeup, little on the theater side. So,
yeah.
Look, I'm down with Citizen Kane, but, this could be like a really long discussion.
It could.
I think the better way to approach this question is, for example, I was going to say 2001, but the flaw in that movie is the
People think
gorilla.
it's boring. Yeah. I love it. I don't think it's boring.
I was going to say the gorillas don't really look real because they're not.
Yeah.
So take them out, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever they're supposed to be. I don't know. Early, late evolutionary gorilla man. I don't know what they are. They don't really look all that real. They look really cheesy.
Yeah.
So like, what's a flaw of The Godfather?
There wasn't a Slim Jim hiding behind the toilet.
That's a really good point. Not enough product placement in The
Not
Godfather.
enough product placement
Fruit
in The
stand
Godfather.
doesn't really count as product placement, does it? It needs
No.
more. Needed a Michael
Slim Jim kiosk. Now we're talking.
Yeah, you needed Sonny to stop off at an old timey McDonald's. Oh man, movie without a flaw. I don't know, man. Or a closest movie to perfection. I don't know. You know what? How about this? Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that.
Hard
another
to
one.
find anything bad in that. Although George C. Scott wouldn't agree.
Yeah, he has beef with that.
He
movie.
didn't like his performance in that. Yeah, because Kubrick tricked him. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Another movie question here. Sebastian asks, what are some of your favorite comedies ever? Doctor Strangelove.
Doctor Strangelove is a terrific comedy. The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sucker for, honestly, my favorite comedy of all time is Ace Ventura Part 2. I laugh hard at that.
Specifically for that one scene, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Timor here asks, what's been the most underwhelming title reign so far this year?
Was Shinsuke's this year?
He won it last November. Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay.
Partially this year.
Yeah, Shinsuke's and then probably Zelina's. Let's see here. W.S. Fletcher says Triple H's infatuation with the Judgment Day is becoming annoying. That is not a question. That's a statement, but we love W.S. Fletcher. And I also agree. It's one of the very few things that I really, really do appreciate about Triple H is that he's obsessed with Judgment Day.
He is obsessed with Judgment Day.
Oh, man. It's like, that's his hologram.
Yeah. Although Judgment Day is not undefeated, you know.
That is true. That is true, yeah. And ironically, they have a lot of gold. Oh, AJ Otani asks, what inning is the Bloodline story in now? Clearly extra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother game at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Jack Showtime here says, anyone else pleasantly surprised at how over Finn and JD were tonight? Yeah, I was pretty surprised that they were getting babyface reaction through that whole match.
People really want to see Finn win. And I think people have like sort of appreciated what JD brings in terms of like his, you know, how fucking fearless he is out there. But also, you know, it just kind of goes to show that like these two teams understand how to play up the heel and face roles just in a match in a vacuum. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like you construct a match a certain way, you're going to get the response that they want because they've been doing this forever. Maggie's got a great question. She says, what's the next nerve that gets attacked in a match? First it was Randy's lat nerve. Now Sheamus's pec nerve on the exposed turnbuckle.
Yeah, right here.
What's a prediction for
chest.
what nerve is going to get attacked next? I'm going to say Goldberg is going to have
sciatica.
Yeah. I think that actually might happen. That's a real one right there. Let's see here. Riff Machine says, with this past match between Cena and Punk in the books, makes me sad we lost Bray. I can only imagine what he would have done with Cena over the past year.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think that would have been? I mean, man, I really hope they would have gone there.
Yeah, I know.
But, like, you kind of never know. But that's a natural one for Bray at least to have a moment. Even if it's a moment of acknowledgement. Like, man, I did this. You know? Like, him acknowledging that, hey, I think I had a part in this.
Yeah. Dog Authority figure says, who has had the best looking custom Money in the Bank briefcase?
Easily Damian Sandow.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Not a
pound one. So
yeah,
good.
not a fucking.
And says,
doubt.
what would each of your custom briefcases look like?
It'd be too much. It'd be way too much. Mine would be. Yours would be yours. I guess I think yours would be brandless. Yours would just literally be. It'd be like Mox's.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Yeah, basically
on
just be an attaché case. Just plain.
Yeah.
I want yours to have like a Starfield, but one that moves.
Yeah, it'd be all LED.
Yeah, and then like Money in the Bank and like Star Trek font.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. But then there's also like on the other side, there's like the Battle of Wolf 359 going down. You know, the Borg cube and the fucking spaceships fighting it. You know,
it's good. Why not just run through like a reel of your favorite moments from the Star Trek?
Oh yeah, no, that too. You know, absolutely. You know, highlights of the Dominion War, obviously. That bit from the end of season 1, Next Generation, when Homeboy's head exploded. It was very Cronenberg type shit.
Yeah.
Episode's called Conspiracy, if you guys want to check it out. You know, the entire trial scene from the episode Measure of a Man when Data's freedom was on the line. That'd be good. Yeah. Pretty much any like court setting in Star Trek would be playing.
Interesting.
As well.
Interesting. I would think that you'd see Star Trek at its best as a legal drama.
Yeah. Well, it kind of was. That Measure of a Man is well known as like one of its best episodes.
Yeah.
You got, of course, you know, Undiscovered Country, where they're in the Klingon court.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Q had kind of like a trial going on.
Kind of, yeah.
It was kind of like a post-apocalyptic type deal. So yeah, lots of good courtroom action in Star Trek.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something they should consider doing is a legal drama set.
Oh, I'm there. That'd be
in that
amazing.
universe.
That'd be great. Hell yeah. They did a whole episode of Strange New Worlds that was set in it was like a court thing. Yeah. It was good. It's good stuff. One of their best episodes.
Okay.
Anyways, that's good. They need there needs to be like an intergalactic Matlock.
There we go.
You know, an old man that everybody, you know, doesn't really take seriously, but then he just wharfs down a bunch of glizzies and this guy is a fucking walking law encyclopedia.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you know that about Matlock? This dude loved glizzies.
I did not know that. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Matlock.
Fuck off, really? Oh, it's amazing. No. It's great.
No.
Same thing. Just not realistic at all. No lawyers getting up there and like coercing confessions on the stand. That's ridiculous.
No, that usually doesn't happen. No.
You know, but this guy did this 26 times a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For like 7 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
This guy's like, he should have been on the fucking front page of every newspaper.
There's 182 confessions he got on the stand.
Right, exactly. None of which are probably admissible, really. I don't know. There's weird shit that goes on in there. Like a judge would be like, strike that from the record. You can't, you know, do a confession on the stand. Maybe you can. I don't know. Has that ever happened? It's nuts that they think that this guy would have been doing this every 2 weeks, like on average, like 26 times a year.
Yeah, I know.
He'd get confessions on the stand. And I don't think that's ever happened in the history of courts.
Let me ask you this. So within the Matlock universe, do you think other lawyers are aware of Matlock's cross-examination skills? And they see that Matlock's on the case, they're like, nope.
I don't want
I'm
any
not taking
part
the
of this.
stand if you insist. I'm not representing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Find a new lawyer. I ain't representing you.
Yeah, he's like, listen, I want to say my piece up there. It's Matlock. Are you stupid? You're gonna get the chair, bro.
The person's like, I was just an eyewitness. It doesn't matter. He'll get a confession out of you.
I know. Imagine that. He's like an actual eyewitness. That's all he is. But he somehow confesses because it's Matlock. And then he's like, God damn, I'm gonna get the chair. And all I did was like, you know, watch this guy get mowed down by a car. It's Matlock.
It's Matlock.
This guy's a savage. Chewing down glizzies left and right. God damn. Anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.
Bum bum ba dum bum ba dum bum ba da da da.